WDAM, Laurel, Hattiesburg. You are watching News 7 6 o'clock edition. You've got 7 on your side.
The residency of a Lamar County educator is put in the spotlight for the voter eligibility in that Hattiesburg mayoral race.
And university officials have more tonight to say on the Army's reconsideration to keep the ROTC program at Southern Miss. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Tonight, another 7 on your side investigation into the eligibility of some voters in the recent Hattiesburg mayoral elections. In the last month, we have examined the residency status of at least a half dozen voters, including a Hattiesburg fireman, a judge, a public defender, and a deputy sheriff.
Well, tonight, 7 on your side's Margaret Ann Morgan puts the residency of a Lamar County assistant school teacher under the microscope. Her voting residency, a vacant lot in Hattiesburg with a rusty mailbox.
Mamie Kim Johnson lives in this duplex apartment on Leeville Road in Petal. She says she recently moved there after living in a trailer at 15 South Hills Drive in Hattiesburg. She also told us she's lived and voted in Hattiesburg all her life. However, records show something different. This vacant lot on South Hills Drive in Hattiesburg is where Mamie Kim Johnson claims to have lived up until about 3 or 4 months ago. It's also the address she used to vote in the Hattiesburg election. But take a look around and you can see the tall pine trees and the growing grass, and those give indication that no one has been here at this lot in quite some time. But not only that, water records show no water has been consumed from this lot since 2005. According to Forest County property records, Mamie and Clarence Johnson paid taxes on the South Hills Drive address, but their mailing address is listed as Darby Road in Raw Springs. The records also indicate there is a double-wide mobile home on the South Hills property until its deletion from the system in 2008. But this Google Map image from 2007 shows no mobile home on the property. So Ms. Johnson says she's always lived in Hattiesburg, but her mailing address has been Darby Road in Raw Springs since at least 2005. And according to this special warranty deed, that home was sold by a mortgage company to another couple in July 2012. So where has Ms. Johnson lived since July 2012? She said she moved to Petal recently, but according to Petal water records, Ms. Johnson has paid the water bill on Leeville Road since August 2012, the month after the Darby Road property was sold. Margaret Ann Morgan for 7 on your side.
Now, officials from the Hattiesburg Water Department made a trip to that vacant lot on South Hills Road today to read the water meter on the property. The service technician told us they were unable to even find a water meter. By the way, there is no record of Ms. Johnson's husband voting in either election, according to the county voter rolls. Clarence L. Johnson listed his voting address as 15 South Hills Drive back in January of 2013, but on May 31st, just before the election, his voting address had been changed to Leeville Road in Petal.
According to a news release issued by Congressman Stephen Palazzo, the University of Southern Mississippi's Army ROTC program is safe, but only tentatively.
Tonight, 7 on your side's Rachel Beach attended a news conference today where President Rodney Bennett filled us in on the current status of the university's Army ROTC program.
And I'd like to start by saying how grateful I am to the U.S. Army for reconsidering its position of pulling our ROTC program at the end of the year.
And the United States Army is giving the Army ROTC program at Southern Miss, along with 12 other schools across the country, 2 more years to get back on track. This comes after Congressman Stephen Palazzo issued a statement on Wednesday following the Army's announcement that they would be placing the University of Southern Mississippi's ROTC program on a probationary period instead of the closure that was announced earlier this year.
All that's been stated is that we're on it. We don't know what criteria have been set up. We don't know the parameters of the program. We hope to find that out in the next couple of days or at the very latest early part of next week.
But Southern Miss still has a steep mountain to climb.
As of this moment, we have not yet received the official letter from the Army extending our program and outlining the criteria for which we will be evaluated over the next 24 months.
We really don't know what the situation is.
Director of Veterans Affairs at USM says he's ready for clarity to be brought to the situation.
We're very eager to hear direct from Cadet Command exactly what the expectation is, because we're quite under the President's leadership. We're in a state of we're ready to get going and do the right thing.
The Army announced they will develop a formal 24-month probationary program, and programs that fail to demonstrate improvement in achieving performance goals or meeting criteria by the end of the first year will receive 1 year's notice of intent to close the unit. For 7 on Your Side, I'm Rachel Beach.
Although it is unclear what criteria the Army ROTC program needs to meet at the end of that 24-month period, schools retained for a second year will be reevaluated. At that time, they will either receive 1 year's notice of intent to close or be retained.
The Mississippi Highway Patrol is working a 2-vehicle accident on Highway 84 at the 184 crossover just west of Collins. State troopers say 2 people are confirmed dead and 2 were seriously injured and have been taken to area hospitals. The names of the victims have not been released, but they were in a car with a Lawrence County license plate. We have more information as it becomes available.
Meanwhile, a second person is now in police custody in connection with the murders of a man, his wife, and her son. This latest arrest was made just last night in Jackson. In Washington Addition, Cedric Mason of Jackson was arrested by a Mississippi Highway Patrol SWAT team around 9:30 at 1338 Hare Street in Jackson. He was taken to University Medical Center for observation. He is being charged with 2 counts of capital murder and 2 counts of kidnapping. Also charged in the crime is Timothy Burns. He remains locked up without bond. He is charged with arson and 2 counts of murder. Now, both men are accused of killing Atria Smith, Jaden Hill, and Lateri Smith. Their bodies were found in an abandoned house in Copiah County. Investigators say that Lateri Smith was murdered in Hinds County. Atira Smith and Jaden Hill were killed in rural Copiah County. Today, Copiah County Coroner Stuart Ellis confirms that Jaden died from a single gunshot wound to the back. Miss Smith died from multiple shotgun wounds, and that Lateri Smith died from multiple gunshot wounds. The suspects are only facing 2 counts of murder at this time. Separate charges are expected to be filed later in Hinds County.
So the third charge will be pending in Hinds County, which is the death of Lateri Smith. The district attorney in Hinds County and Copiah County are working together to orchestrate all the charges. Once all the reports, it's still a long way to go, and once all the reports are finalized, they'll be submitted to the district attorneys, and they will decide what charges to bring forward to the grand jury.
Now, this home at 107 or 1007 McDowell Road in Jackson is one of the crime scenes in the case. This is where investigators believe that Lateri Smith was murdered.
Columbia police closed in on a duo wanted for credit card crimes in 3 states involving thousands of dollars. According to police, they received a call from Quality Power Equipment in Columbia stating a suspicious man had bought almost $5,000 worth of lawn equipment, then stole 2 flashlights off the counter. Once police reviewed the evidence, they realized the credit card used was a stolen card number. Suspects had used the card in Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, purchasing several $1,000s worth of equipment in each state.
Had made a purchase at the Quality Power. The quick thinkings of the owner there, Dudley Williamson, he had jotted down the tag number and actually made one of the suspects produce an ID, and that's where we went from there.
The suspects are believed to live around Mobile, Alabama. Detective Cooper hasn't released the names of the 2 suspects because Columbia police are working with Mobile County authorities to apprehend the 2 men. And up next at 6, this month is dedicated to promoting awareness of the need for adopting families for children in foster care.
Find out what folks in the Pine Belt are doing to help out in this cause.
You're watching News 7 6 o'clock edition with Randy Swan, Carrie Leggett-Brown, Nick Ortego, and Austin Simmons. You've got 7 on your side.
November is National Adoption Month, and in the Pine Belt area, many Mississippians celebrate it today by bringing attention to providing loving homes to several children. 7 on your side's Vanessa Pacheco has more on Mass Adoption Day.
In the United States, more than 100,000 children in foster care are waiting for permanent and loving families. But in just one day, many individuals can make a difference and provide a child with a family and a home. On Thursday, several residents from different counties in Mississippi did just that during Mass Adoption Day at the Forest County Chancery Courthouse.
It's just a really exciting day today for these families to open their arms and their hearts to these children.
One by one, families went up to Chancery Judge Beam and finalized their adoption and made a child one of their own.
Although she's been a part of our family for quite some time, we got the opportunity to legally make her part of our family, so we're very happy and very excited.
I'm very excited. This is my grandson. I mean, I'm excited.
Thanks to several families that participated in the adoption, many children now have a mother and a father.
I don't have to go around saying, oh, they're my foster parents anymore. I can say, those are my parents.
Not only do they officially have a family, but they plan to be on their best behavior.
I want to say I'm going to be good and helpful and be nice and stuff.
Overall, it was a day that the children and their parents will always remember.
They have a lot of kids out there, and I wish the best that someone would come along and do like we did, take their best interests in heart.
When you look and you lay your head down at night and you look at the situation, you know that you've helped out a child, that you've been a blessing to their life, that they've had an opportunity that they wouldn't have had otherwise. It makes all the difference. It really does.
I love you.
Love you too, babe.
And I love you too, Mama.
Vanessa Pacheco for 7 on your side.
All right, thank you very much, Vanessa. Coming up in weather, we could be needing to kick on the heaters tonight. We'll talk about that right after this break. Welcome back. Nick Ortego here. Right next to me, our recap of this day. Only getting up to 66 degrees, and the morning low was at 49. It felt a little chilly, but the winds were a major factor this morning, too. Actually made it feel like it was in the low 40s. As for the rain gauge, we picked up just over 1/10 of an inch after midnight last night. Alpha Insurance Sky Camera at Forest General Hospital, they're reading 54 right now, had a low of 47 today. A big picture with the satellite radar loop. I've got it tracking back 18 hours so you can see the rain exiting the area in the early morning hours. That was about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Took a little longer to get the clouds out of here. We had a cloudy morning, but somewhere around 11, 12 o'clock, we really started to see these clouds move out of the Pine Belt and open up the door for some sun and some slightly warmer conditions. Southern Pine Electric Power radar, clean scan. We're not finding any rain over the tri-state area. So let's step back a little further and try to explain to you what's going on. Our front has moved beyond us. That front is now running up and down the East Coast, but there's low pressure and high pressure. We're caught in the middle. In other words, we're seeing windy conditions from the two pressure gradients kind of working against each other there, and that's why we've seen the winds in double digits for a good part of the day. They're starting to die down a little bit, but still looking at double digits in many locations with these winds, and they're coming out of the north, so it's that cool breeze that we're seeing there. But overnight tonight, I think things will go back to normal for us and bring those winds to about 5 miles per hour to calm during your day on Friday. What's not going to change is we're going to still see a lot of cool air come in here for your Friday morning. This model is projecting our temperatures going down to 40 degrees, bringing Meridian down to 37. Patchy frost probably will be likely I-20 north. I-20 south patchy frost is possible, but not as likely. I think we're going to go with 39 degrees for the overnight low here in the Pine Belt. Even though the models are saying 40, I think that's a little bit conservative. We'll have clear conditions throughout the rest of the night, so any heat that we manage to get to the surface today will quickly escape. Looking into your day tomorrow, plenty of sun, at least to start off with, and the temperature's a little bit warmer, getting up to 66 degrees by about 4 o'clock, but maybe some increased cloud cover as we go into late Friday and into the weekend. That's why I'm using the Futurecast here, not so much to show you rain chances, but to show you cloud chances. We're going to stop this clock at 2:30 Saturday afternoon. You see these clouds draped across much of Mississippi. Now, we're still going to have warm temperatures and a fairly nice temperature weekend Saturday, but it could be cloudy all the way into Sunday as well. So here's how it plays out in the forecast. You got Friday high of 66 with sunny conditions, Saturday and Sunday highs in the 70s with those cloudy conditions, and the lows in the 40s. The coldest morning will be probably Friday morning at 39 up until a week from today. Now, what's taking place there is you see that 20% chance of rain on Wednesday. That's actually the passage of a front, and it could bring some Arctic air. By Thursday, we may have a high of only 58 degrees and lows in the 30s. And by Friday morning, which is off the 7-day forecast here, we could be talking mid-30s, maybe even low 30s. Carrie and Randy, back to you.
Low 30. That's chilly. Up next in sports, Southern Miss enters the weekend looking to break the nation's current longest losing streak.
And the JCJC football team gets prepared to face East Mississippi for the state championship.
Declaration, and a battle for independence. Throughout our history, the members of our military have defended our nation and fought for the freedom of other nations. And while we would never choose war over peace, neither have we shied away from those who would do us or others harm. On Monday, November the 11th, we will once again salute those who have defended our country so bravely. Veterans Day is set aside for us to honor those brave men and women. We at WDAM salute all who have served our country, and we urge you to take a moment on Monday to thank a veteran for their service and dedication. This is today's Viewpoint.
This has been a WDAM Viewpoint. Send any comments or questions to Jay Scortino at WDAM.com.
The Golden Eagles' losing streak, the longest current streak in the country, has now reached 20 games, and it's no secret around town that fans are frustrated with the continual losing. Southern Miss enters Saturday's matchup with Louisiana Tech, leading that all-time series 31-13, but this one looks like it'll be as tough as any of the other ones. And through 8 consecutive losses to start the year, defensive coordinator Dave Duggan says they just got to keep on keeping on.
I mean, honestly, you just have to persevere. I mean, and that's what we're telling our guys. What is the message? How do you continue to I mean, it must stink for you guys just to cover where you're not getting the results. I mean, it's no fun to cover a team that's over. And it's no fun from us. It's kind of tough for those guys to walk around with confidence, to go and know that you're associated with the team and go to social functions. And the only good thing for me right now is I get up and out of my house and I go to work and I don't see anybody and I go home. So I don't have the stress of seeing other people really like the team does. And so it's very difficult on them. It's human nature.
Southern Miss and Louisiana Tech will kick off Saturday at 6 p.m. The game can be seen on CBS Sports Network. Meanwhile, the 4th-ranked JCJC Bobcats are one win away from a state championship, but standing in their way is hands down the #1 team in the MACJC, East Mississippi. The Lions are #1 in total offense and are tops in passing and rushing defense across the board. The Bobcats, meanwhile, come into the game with the 2nd-ranked offensive attack to go along with the 7th-best defense. Head coach Ray Perkins spoke about how exciting it is to face such a tough opponent.
It's a pleasure for us. It's a pleasure for us to play a team of their caliber and to establish or try to establish ourselves in a likeness. I think we're a pretty good football team, so we'll have plenty of opportunity to try to prove that.
Is set for 2 at Sullivan Wyndham Field in Scuba.
High school highlights brought to you by Jones County Junior College. Be great.
Tonight's high school highlight comes from the Wayne County West Jones game. The War Eagles are back to pass, and the ball's going to be tipped. Deontay Keys comes down with it for the Mustangs, and he'll have a big return, and that would lead to a West Jones touchdown. Randy, back to you.
Thanks so much, Austin. Finally, a Hattiesburg architect who oversaw the restoration of a historic Gulf Coast home, which is considered to be an architectural missing link, spoke to members of the Kiwanis Club today. Larry Albert presented a lecture on the rebuilding and the importance of the Charnley Norwood home in Ocean Springs. It was built in 1890 and is thought by many today to be the first modern American house. It was designed by famous architects Louis Sullivan and Frank Lloyd Wright and was heavily damaged during Katrina. It was bought by the state in 2011 and restoration was completed in August.
It's only beginning to get that designation. Yes, the research has only started. It's like the missing link is found and being analyzed and studied. So we're right on the cusp of understanding exactly that it is the breaking house.
Now, Louis Sullivan designed another home next to the Charnley Norwood house, but it was destroyed by Katrina. We were laughing at Dave Dugan's comments. I go home, nobody sees me. You said you do that when you give a bad weather forecast.
If I have the wrong forecast, I don't talk to anybody. I just try to avoid the public altogether.
Oh.
I totally forget.
Well, I tell you what.
But they don't. They'll just tell you the next time they see you.
They don't.
They don't. Yeah, for
happens
some
so
reason they talk more about the weather than news or sports or whatever. So, but we are going to be getting cool. Maybe a frost coming up next week.
Yes, slight chance of a patchy frost tonight. Maybe if you're in a rural area or further to the north. But next week, a week from today, that's going to be really cold.
All right, we'll bundle up. Thanks for watching. More tonight at 10 o'clock.
Have a good night.